and blown up in every single register is pretty clear. And I'll let Mr. Exchange there tell me what it says on line 1. Read it out loud.
Bill's Music has an all sales final, no cash refunds policy. Purchases charged to your Bill's charge are due and payable within 30 days from the date of purchase.
Okay.
Keep reading that.
Well, that's it. Because it's pretty easy. What is Bill's return policy? Can't return it. However, that's the big print. And that's what we tell them, and that's what we want them to go out knowing. But do we do exchanges sometimes? 100%. We will. We want everybody to be happy. We're not trying to be,
Right.
okay, but we don't want to take stuff back. Okay, we have decided over the years, I know some places have 7 days and some places have this. It's people just take advantage of it too much.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'll go out and buy that PA that you spent an hour and a half putting together for them for their weekend gig, and it'll be back on Monday. Some places have to do it a little bit, but we just don't. Most independent stores like us don't. So that's the big print. Having said that, have I taken a return before? Yeah. You know, sometimes you just have to. But, you know, if they come in and they bought this red guitar, but they got home and it really looks better with the purple one hanging up on the wall, are we going to say they can't exchange it for their purple one? No. You know, so anything's possible. But so you put this out there, and that way, here's the word. They signed it on the front, and when you sign it on the front underneath your credit slip, right underneath that, it reiterates.
Right.
It's on there right on the front, too. So they see it, they know it. Not only that, we blast it.
Yeah.
Big print, I don't know if you noticed, on every register. And Jamie takes the no refund and took that. We debated about this one. I don't like how it looks, but at least it puts the word out there. There's no ambiguity. So there's no ambiguity on the return policy.
And
There is
yet
not
still.
one. But there's always the exceptions. Okay, so you always, I want to return this. Well, and usually if somebody wants to return something, they don't really want to return it. It's just not right. So you figure out what the problem is.
Yeah.
Say, what's the problem? Well, this is the wrong cable. I needed to get balance ends. No problem. Let's exchange and get balance ends. Or there's all kinds of reasons. But usually you just got to get to the bottom of the problem.
Right.
Sometimes they have buyer's remorse. Well, we can't do much about buyer's remorse. Sometimes the wife bashed them over the head with a frying pan when they got home. Can't do much about that either. But usually if there's something they return, it's normally just they got the wrong thing or this, or they bought too many. Now somebody bought a guitar with 3 cables, 2 straps, 6 guitar effects pedals. They said, I didn't need this strap. Am I going to give that guy a hard time if he just wants to return that strap? No, of course not. Common sense beats everything.
Yeah.
But we put the word out there. That's it. So now if they ask you that, what is my return policy? You got to flower it up a little bit better than this. Can't say, oh, nope, none. Call it a day. Say, well, we don't really have any type of refund policy. But, you know, for some reason, you decided you wish you'd gotten this guitar. So we'll work with you a little bit. Do we have a specific amount of days? No, we really don't. It's not a part of the policy. But, you know, if you have an issue with it and you need to you wish you got something else, never, ever talk in terms of cash refunds. I've had people that act like our warranty is a return policy. 30, you got 30 days. You don't have 30 days for anything, okay? Yeah, so there is no returns at all. However, when the time comes, let's see what's going on, what's the issue, and then we'll try to always work with people as best we can. Because at the end of the day, obviously, we want them to leave pretty happy, but we don't want to take anything back.
I've never seen you stonewall anybody. It's always.
I can usually work it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sometimes it's been a problem. Because at the end of the day, when they don't like your answer, they come find me, and there's nobody to go after me, so they just keep yelling at me. But so sometimes it's an issue. It has been over the years. I mean, you don't do this for this long, and somebody 6 weeks. I've had people come back try to return things they have for 6 months. I mean, crazy stuff like we're talking about. Ooh. So, anyway. While we're at it, this is a pretty good cheat to know. Your new equipment, Bill's warranty. Every single piece we sell has a warranty. We are the warranty service center for most products out there. Okay, so if you buy something at Bill's, let's say you buy your Epiphone at Bill's Music, you can bring it here for warranty service. And pretty much everything we sell, we're a warranty service center. If you buy a Yamaha PA board, we're a warranty service center. If you buy a Mackie piece, you can bring it to us. So we will take back and deal with whether we can deal with it here or not. But most things we can. The guys in the back
Because they're really good.
Because we want to service what we sell. And what we don't service is what somebody else sold.
Yeah.
We are a Yamaha service center, and we sign ourselves up only for the stuff that Bill sells. They bought it online at Amazon, and it's under Yamaha warranty. Can't bring it here. We can, but you know, it's not we don't do warranty service for anybody else. We want to service what we sell. Gives you another reason to come to Bill's to buy it, you know. So because how many service centers are there in Baltimore? Ain't that many. You're not going to take your your Yamaha mixer to Guitar Center, if you bought it from Guitar Center, I think they're going to service it in the back room, because they're not. They're going to, first of all, they're going to try to sell you about $100 plan when you buy it, and then they're going to have to ship it out to their main thing. So we want to service what we sell. We are a warranty center. What's the warranty for all the new stuff out there? Anybody want to tell me? You can't, because you don't know. Everybody's different.
No clue.
So if they say, what's the warranty on my new Martin guitar? You might have to go to the Martin website, go into support, go into warranty. I'm going to tell you it's a limited lifetime warranty. Or if they say, what's my warranty on my Yamaha keyboard? You got to go look it up on the Yamaha. Whatever it is, they can bring it to us. Number 2. While we're at it. Previously owned, however, is different. Everything we sell that's used has a warranty. Everybody tell me how long?
30 days.
30 days is correct. You weren't sure because you said it really soft.
Well, because everything is 30 days, so I just.
Not everything. Everything used, however. 30-day warranty, unconditional for anything used. Okay, so we will take care of it pretty much whatever it is. There's a 30-day warranty. I've had speakers that I knew that some guy played too loud and fried, but we warranted anyway. We pretty much have an unconditional 30-day warranty in the shop. One way or another, we're going to solve the problem. And if we can't, we wouldn't. We need to refund them if it was something that we couldn't fix. So we'll absolutely make it right no matter what in 30 days. Then there's the additional peace of mind service in there. You may not have heard about this one yet. Additional peace of mind. Some people say, do you have an extended warranty? Well, on the new stuff, the warranty is so long, you don't have to talk about it. So let's say you're about there and you've got this PV power amplifier you sold. It's 25 years old. And they say, what's your warranty? Well, it's 30 days. But we'll extend it to 6 months for $20.
Wow.
So it's called Peace of Mind Service, POMS. You ring it in like you would ring in just something generic. So you can get an extended warranty on your used items. We'll extend it to 6 months, no matter what it is, no matter what the price of it is. It's only $20. So people will ask that sometimes, and if you bring it up, they may do it, they may not. It's up. With $20, if it's expensive, you might. When can I do an exchange or store credit? Well, whenever you give them permission to. You can't really just do it. But you say, if you have your issue, obviously common sense. If you want to exchange a 10-foot cable for a 20, sure, you can do that. But if something bigger, you might have to just get a helper. Adding on accessories. Selling a guitar, suggest a tuner, case, and cable. Well, we've all done that. How do I know if a guitar comes with a case? Should have it on the sign.
Yeah.
Almost every sign. Sometimes you miss. Sometimes I might put it too far in the description of one of my used guitars, and it doesn't come up on the sign, but that's almost never happens. Usually every guitar that has a case, the case is right on the sign, so you know it's got a case. Everybody know where the used cases are downstairs? If you need to go get one, kind of right in that middle left section, then the used case is to the left. And what guitar comes with a case, you can almost figure it out anymore. If it's a American electric guitar, if it's something good, they have cases. Even acoustics now are starting to give you, Taylor and Martin, they give you cases for even the cheapest one you buy. Most of the gig bags these days. But basically it's right on the sign. And of course you want to make sure they get their case. Horns come with cases too, for the record.
Yes, and violins.
And violins, correct. All horns come with a case, and violins, all those things do.
Even if the sign does not mention it, it does.
That's right. Yeah, that's a good one. Can people try out our brass woodwind instruments? Yeah, they can. You don't want just some guy that's playing a bunch of brass instruments, though, just like they play guitars. Sometimes you'll get kids, I just want to play some tubas or some whatever. Well, we don't really have those set up for demo, but you can play guitars and keyboards and all you want. Because there is some mouth issues going on with that. So, if we have this nice $4,000 Yamaha Alto sax, and somebody you just flat out know isn't going to buy it, wants to try it out, you don't really want to go take that mouthpiece out of the case, because the next guy's not going to be too excited about that. So, I wouldn't be. If I went in, I am not excited about going to buy a horn that my new 5 people tried out before me. Just wouldn't be. So, if they have their own mouthpiece, if you have a mouthpiece. Now, on the other hand, I'm talking to Mrs. Jones, and she's talking about buying this nice $4,000 Yamaha sax for her son who just graduated high school. And she really, is there any way you can try it out before we take it? Yeah, I'm trying that one out. I'm pulling down that mouthpiece. It's called qualifying your customer a little bit. If I'm pretty convinced that I've got a pretty good shot of sale, no guarantees, am I going to go get that case down? Heck yeah, I'm gonna, But so you got to kind of qualify a little bit. So for the most part, we don't. Are you interested in buying a sax today? Oh no, I just wanted to try a few. Yeah, you can bring in your own mouthpiece, or you can try to use one if you have your own mouthpiece. So you got to be careful on that. We don't try out new mouthpieces, period, ever. Sometimes it hurts us a little bit, but we don't carry any too many high-end mouthpieces either. But, there was a day where people would come in, they'd want to try out all these metal mouthpieces. You just can't do that anymore. You just can't really. At least we don't feel like you can. I know you can buy them like woodwind and brass wind. If you don't like it, you can send it back, that kind of thing. And if you do try out something new, especially, or even one of our used demos, we have this mouthpiece sterilizing spray. You spray it in there and get it. So you got to kind of go to the trouble of getting it back together. So we're not dying to try out a bunch of new horns. We will qualify them a little bit, and not all the time we can, but we will. We have to. But it's an issue there. It's not like trying out a guitar. Do we try out drum sets? No. They're up high for a reason. Well, once again, it's not like it's never happened. If I have somebody that's looking at that Swirl 1695 Ludwig set that's right above Taylor's head right now, and he wants to bring it down, he wants to bang a couple drums and make sure. If I have a pretty good idea that I think, that's just the final step, some people need that, am I going to pull it down? Yep, I'm going to pull it down. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make that sale if I think that guy. And you get a feel, the longer you do this, you get a feel of who's kind of serious and who's kind of pulling your chain. But for the most part, if 12, 8-year-olds come in after school from Mount St. Joe, or 8, 12-year-olds maybe, and they want to, hey, do you guys have a show we can play? No. Can someone pay over the phone? What if the credit card is not here? What do you do, Taylor?
I don't know, don't do that.
I just did. They ask
don't
you on the floor, you can't say, I don't know.
Well, don't you just take it? Like, don't you get them to, like, do the invoice thing?
You're close. Can someone pay over the phone? What if the credit card is not here? What would you do?
If it's not here, you don't just send them the invoice?
You do? How would you send them the invoice? That's correct.
Through Podium.
Podium, that's exactly right.
God. Gives me anxiety, Jesus.
Don't get anxiety because you're going to be out there on the floor. You got to know these questions. Okay? You can't say, oh, no. So, right. If somebody's credit card's not here, happens all the time. We just talked about it. Mom's credit card's home, kid's here. What do? You send them a Podium. If credit card's not here. What is the warranty on new and used gear? We did that.
Yep.
What if a customer wants something that's not here? Well, what do we do? Anybody?
We can see about making a special order.
Yeah, we get it.
There's a couple different
ways.
special order
So
rain check.
we have something that's called a special order and something called a rain check. Let's just say you have some guy and he's looking at this piece, and I don't know if I just kind of wanted to check one out, see if you have it. I'll get it. What's the difference? All this stuff out here, what's one more piece, whatever it might be. So say, look, we'll get one for you, and there's no obligation to purchase it at all. There isn't. And we call that a rain check. So you ever use your employee messaging and how to send a message through AMSI? Well, if you don't, we'll learn. But there's a section in AMSI, it's called employee messaging. And basically, you can send me a message. And you go into AMSI and you go into employee messaging, and it says, who do you want to send a message to? And the answer is Brian. And then you put as much description as you can on the piece. Taylor might say, this fellow wants to try out or wants to see if we can get a Gibraltar drum rack, this model for this amount of money, figure out how much it is. Send me everything I need to get it. And will we get it for them? Absolutely, we'll get it for them. And if they buy it, great. If they don't buy it, we'll put it on the floor, and guess what? Somebody else will buy it. So we'll get almost anything anybody wants to try. Now, is there an occasional exception? Somebody says, boy, I really want to try this $8,000 Akai multi-track mixer. I might hesitate on that a little bit, but I don't hesitate on much. When you have a store with this much inventory, if somebody wants something we don't have, probably should have it anyway. If somebody's in here looking for it, probably should have had it in the first place. So that's called a rain check. So we'll show you how to do an employee message if you haven't. But just send me a little note. Say, hey, this guy, and you got to fill out everything about him. You got to put him in AMSI. You got to say, John Wayne, this phone number, this email address, maybe his AMSI account number, wants to try out a Fender Stratocaustic in green. And then have the model number, the Fender Stratocaustic. I don't want to be looking up a bunch of model numbers and all.
Which is in the inventory.
Which is all there. All that stuff is, of course, you need the customer's information. That's important too. And then you send me a message, and we'll get it. Might not get it that day if I have to build an order for somewhere, but eventually I'm going to get it. I'm going to take that rain check you gave me. I'm going to print it. I'm going to put it right on the order. And then the second it comes in, Lindsay or Poshly or whoever's doing stock that day is going to send them an email out and give you the rain check so you know it's here if you want to try to contact them either. So that's called a rain check. Made a lot of sales on rain check.
It's got to be in the system though, right? We can't.
No.
No.
Doesn't have to be in the system. All you're doing is sending me a message.
Okay.
So if I have to get it put in the system, a lot of stuff, if it's in the
Cool.
system, we probably have it. So, no, doesn't have to be in the system. Just
Right.
tell me what it is specifically, and we're gonna get it for that guy.
Okay.
Or, he might wanna specifically special order something. I'm a lot quicker on a special order. But if this fella comes in and he's got a Martin guitar, and he really wants this particular one, the difference between a special order and a rain check is he's got a little deposit on him. That rain check, we're just gonna let him know it's here. We might hold it for a couple days. We don't go crazy. Like, we had a rain check for this big Pioneer controller you guys might have saw sitting behind the counter last week called that Opus Quad. Well, we had a guy that had a rain check on it. We had him on order anyway. Well, we held it for like 3 days, never heard from him. It was really popular. We pulled the rain check, put it out, and sold it in a day. You know, so we don't hold them forever. But if he had money on it, if he'd have given us $100, then that was his. You know, then we couldn't have pulled it. So, you know, that's the difference between a special and a rain check. If he really wants it, and you really want to lock it up to be yours, get a deposit on it. Okay, so get some money down, and that really locks it up. Then I'm obligated to get that thing ordered immediately because he's done his job. He's put some money on it, and then a special order is rung in AMSI. It's not just a little message to me. Hey, can we get this? That's an official transaction in AMSI that you do. So if you can get it, and if you get a deposit, it kind of locks up your sale a little bit better.
Right.
If you just go to message table, we'll call you when this gets in. You don't have anything really. You just gotta. Maybe I'll come back and see if you get it.
What's the minimum down payment for the?
There is no minimum. We'd like to get 10%.
Okay.
We don't want to, you know, I don't want somebody to put $3 on a $2,000 Les Paul exactly. And the more you get, frankly, the more locked up your sale is. And that becomes your sale too. If you got the initial deposit,
Right.
you could be sitting home swimming in your pool and Nino has to ring it out and do all the hard work. But whoever gets the money initially gets the sale. It also kind of locks up your sale.
Mhm.
On a rain check, you might have gotten a rain check, but that doesn't mean anything.
Right.
So there is a difference. A special order, we may have to teach you how to ring it in. To be fair, Taylor, you write down some things for me since you're writing things we should look at.
Yeah.
Can you put down employee messaging? Ringing in special orders. Just in case there's some things we need to do after this. Let's do rent to rent too. I don't think you guys would get anywhere on rent to rent if you had one today. The things are all done in AMSI. It'd be good to know how to rent. Okay. How can I alert you when we're out of something we only stock? Taylor's been doing that for 3 days. So sometimes you don't have something in stock. I'll break this down to putting in uncommitted orders. But basically, what you do is, if there's some things you're out of, maybe, and Taylor right now has been inventorying Gibraltar parts for us for the last 3 or 4 days. And now we've got the inventory right, and there's all these empty hooks in the thing. So she goes and she does, it's kind of a special order, but it's called entering an uncommitted order. And she types in, not a customer, but stock. Just says stock 1, that's an account in there. And then she starts making an order and listing all these things that I need to get. She saves it, and then it comes to I have a section of check your uncommitted orders. And that's all these guys. If there's something we're out of, you can put it in AMSI, say, hey, Brian, we're out of this, you know, instead of walking up to me, you know, maybe say, Brian, we're out of this, we should maybe get these. I'm not gonna remember that.
Right.
But if you do an uncommitted order, and I'll show you maybe quickly how to do that when we, I don't use Marian's computer. When we go up, I might show you how to do that real fast, or maybe I'll let Taylor show you how to do that, because she knows how to do it. But anyway, entering an uncommitted order is you should, if we're out of something we should definitely have, maybe it's already on order, but maybe it's not, because there's a lot of stuff here, and I don't catch them all every day. So there's a way to tell me if we're out of something that we should have it. You need to tell me that we should have it. How long can I hold an item for someone? Hardly ever. The problem is, let's say we have this really cool piece. Say that Pioneer Opus Quad, for example. Well, as soon as it comes in, computer shows automatically that we have one in stock. Let's say somebody calls and says, I'm picking it up on Friday and it's Monday. Well, can you hold it for me? You can't. The reason being, somebody might order it online Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
And then what are you going to do? You've got this guy that you promised you'd hold something to for Friday. Meanwhile, you've got this other guy who's paid for it.
Right.
You know, so you really, and same thing with like a used piece. You know, can I hold a used piece? Not really, because these orders are flying in all over the place. Now, let's say you got guys talk about a Boss Katana, and you got 6 of them downstairs, and he says, "Can you hold it to me for Friday?" Probably could hold that one. I think we're pretty safe. You know, so again, a little common sense prevails. But don't promise you're going to hold things too much. If they do want to hold something, if they come in on Friday, and they want to hold it, and they want it, but they just can't get here, what should they do? That's exactly right. Just same thing as that special order, to make sure that special order is his. So maybe if it's $400, say, look, I can't just hold it, but let me send you a little podium for $25. Put a deposit on it, and what time you gonna be here Friday? We don't hold things indefinitely even for that. But then what happens? You bring it in, pulls it out of stock. You go on BillsMusic.com, it shows none in stock. It pulls off a reverb, all that stuff.
Good.
So if they really want to hold something, you can't just put it behind the counter with the name on it. Look, if they say it's 2 o'clock and they say, look, I'm on my way. Can you hold that? It's the last one. Can you hold it to me to 5? I'll be there at 5. Are you gonna hold that piece for that guy? Yeah, I'm gonna hold that piece if that guy says, yeah, absolutely. I'm not gonna have somebody come from Virginia to buy a piece, a 2-hour ride, and tell them I'm not gonna hold it. But for the most part, you can't do too many overnighters or weeks, you know. Or I'll be in Saturday and it's Monday for it. But it's the only one you have. Get a deposit on it if they really want to hold it. If they're on their way, or if they say, I'll be the first thing in the morning, can you hold it for me the rest of the night? You close at 6, I don't get off till 8. Can you hold it to me in the morning? Of course, common sense says you're going to do that. So be careful what you hold, though. You can get yourself in trouble.
How do we remove that from the online? Because if we're
You
holding
don't.
it for 4 hours.
You don't. You just take your chances at that point.
Okay, so somebody could theoretically buy
could
it online.
theoretically. You could, but
Dang.
and it happens. I mean, it happens.
So that's
Somebody-
why your
especially
better
on highway.
answer is to say, we really can't hold
Well, if somebody says, look, I'm on my way,
it. Yeah,
you gotta tell them you're not gonna hold it. You just take a chance at that point. you
Okay.
know. Sometimes people come a long way.
yeah.
You know, you can say, look, can you get a deposit? You can ask for one, but if somebody says, you know, the chances aren't very good that somebody's
Sure.
going to go online, let's face it, it would have to be bad luck.
Yeah.
And bad luck happens. It happens a lot. But it's these 2 or 3 day things where somebody, you know, it used to be it didn't matter. Stuff wasn't online or
Mhm.
inventory wasn't.
Yeah.
And it might matter a little bit because they still might order one. If you don't tell the world you have one, maybe you could try to figure out another way to do it. Can't do it in a used piece, but yeah, these days where everything's just interactive and you know, and as soon as you sell it or put a deposit on it, it pulls it offline. So that's why the special order there or try to get a deposit. But still, sometimes you just gotta roll the dice a little bit. And
Yeah.
I'm coming from York, PA, and I really want that amp. I was looking at it last week, but I'm coming down. Can you hold it for me? And we're gonna say no.
Hurry.
I'm not.
I got you.
You won't be too popular with that guy if you do. What are some ways to close the sale? Well, you could get online and talk about this, and there's like a million fancy closes in the world that they will teach salespeople. Just keep asking subtly. You know, I mean, there's the pros and cons close where you take your customer and say, well, let's think the good things and the bad things. And there's all kinds of these fancy closes in sales. For the most part, people are a little more impulse than they used to be. They don't go shopping around the store, so it's not like you gotta get them when they're here. You kind of want to, but just, you know, sometimes just ask. So you like it? You think that one's the one? Is there any, or the other one? You know, you're out there showing guitars mostly. Is there anything else you need for it? You know, it's like, okay, so you're getting this. Is there anything else you need? You're gonna need a set of strings. You need a tuner for this. You're trying to sell your set of strings and your tuner. But what you're really doing is closing the sale.
Mhm.
You're really kind of trying to tell them, you know, okay, let's roll with this. And then you get your PA together maybe, and you show them your mixer and your mics. Okay, here's the cables you're gonna need. Anything else? You ready to roll? Something like that. Keep it subtle. But you do want to ask occasionally. You don't want to sit there with somebody for 3 hours that walks out the door. Sometimes they're not even here to buy. So, you know, get to the point where you're asking for your sale subtly, nicely, as best you can. And then if you realize that they're just wasting your time, move on. Because time is money. You know, it's not just being here for 8 hours, being here and selling as much as you can for those 8 hours. Time is money. Subtly asking for your sale. I don't go for are you ready to buy it now? Or, you know, nothing that's too abrasive. Just say, is there anything else you need to go with it? That to me is a great one. Then you're kind of just trying to finish that one, move on to accessory. If he says, no, this is really all I need. Okay, let me go get the case. I'll give you another one. If you think you're close on a guitar, go get the case.
Yeah.
Go get it. Hey, you want to see what the case looks like? They say no, they're not buying it, frankly. But if they say yes, say, yeah, let me show you what the case looks like. And then you go down, you get the case. Hey, see, let me show you how it fits in the case. And then you put it in the case. oh yeah, case looks great. Okay, and then you close the case and off you go. You know, the case is a great sales tool. You know, guitar. All of a sudden it's in this nice Fender case with these big latches and carpet inside. And you see it in there. Now you got the guitar in the case. Get the case is a good one if you can. You don't get 6 cases, but if you think you've got to narrow it down to the one, go get the case. Or maybe if you're talking about drums, Taylor. You like the one set up, or would you rather it in a box? Which way would we rather sell it? Yeah, because we don't want to set it up. But if they say, man, I really like to get it set up, can we live with that? Absolutely. All right, we'll get down. We'll get that set up for you. You know, that kind of thing. So it's just subtle ways of saying, hey, you ready to roll? Without, are you ready to roll? But you got to, you know, if a guy's like on a 6 guitar and hadn't really studied with any of them, you're not there yet. So you kind of got to get it narrowed down and then just kind of say, okay, you ready to go? Or any way you want to say it. Anything else you want to get with that is a good one. If he says, well, I don't know if I want to get it yet, well, you're not anywhere close.
Mm-hmm.
General employee purchases. You get an employee discount. Small stuff, Tracy, myself, it's got to be me, Tracy, or Jamie that rings it in. All the purchases you make. Small stuff, we'll just kind of do it for you. You know, just say sometime during the day, hey, there's a couple things I want to get your pile, and we'll come down and just do it. If it's bigger item we have, it's called a 30-day charge. It's a little white thing. I ask you to put a little note in my bin. I do those. And it's a little form called a Bill's 30-day charge. Just put it in my bin, and I'll get you a price the next day, and then me, Tracy, or Jamie can bring it in if it's a little bit bigger. But you do get a pretty good employee discount. It's a little bit of a perk for working here. And you don't get anything when used. Because used, we got one shot. So we can't, if I get to do something new, I can replace it, so no harm, no foul. I'll get you anything we don't have. You know, I'll order you whatever you want if we don't have it here. There are some companies that have employee accommodations. It's an advantage for a company to see you own one of their pieces. Because when they come in looking for something similar, what are you going to do? You're going to walk and try to sell the one you own. So there are some companies, if you're spending any real money, that you call up, we tell you to call, or you call direct, but usually you call our sales reps, which you'll get to know some of them as time goes on, and just say, is there an employee accommodation for him? Lenny, my brother-in-law, he tried to buy a Pioneer piece. I said, you know, I think they got an accommodation for that. When he did, he saved a lot of money, you know, below what we pay for it, because they want to get products in your hands as best they can. But either way, yes, you get a pretty good employee discount, but not on used. How do I put in for time off? Don't. It's my favorite answer. However, we try to work it out the best we can. I don't think I have one back here. George just had some dates before he started working here that he had some, you know, things already planned in the summer. So we have what's called a pink slip up front. Pink slip is just a request for off type thing. Sometimes we'll try to work it out. If you can maybe work it out with one of the other people out there. Right now we got a little bit of a crew compared to what we had in the last couple of years. So it's a little easier. But say, maybe Matt's off Tuesday and you need Wednesday. Maybe you could flip, or you need Tuesday. Say, hey, can you work Tuesday? I'll work Wednesday, something like that. But every other these guys are pretty accommodating to do that if they can. But if you just can't, we have what's called a pink slip. And or if I need to be later, if I need to leave earlier, so anything you might need to do, get to me in enough time so we can try to work it out. And we try to work it out the best we can. Usually we do.
Do we have everybody's schedule posted somewhere?
They have it, the receptionist cube has it.
Okay.
It's definitely there. I don't know if it's on the floor anywhere, but the receptionist cube has copies.
Okay.
What if I'm sick, have an emergency? You're sick and you have an emergency, you're sick and have an emergency. We'll figure it out. Lunch breaks. Used to be we were open 9 to 9, and some people would work 9 to 9 shifts. And at that point, if you work that long of a shift, you got an hour lunch break. Everything's smaller now. And now you're 11 to 6. So what do? What you've already seen what we do. If you need to go out and get a sandwich, you know, not any official lunch break. We try to stagger, you know, we don't want 3 people going at the same time. But you have to go out. It's not as long a day as it used to be. So we don't, one of the reasons we don't open is, well, that's not true. I should have said that. Follow through. Call your emails back. That's pretty important. Don't tell somebody you're going to call them back. If you got to look something up and answer for something, if you told them you'll give them a call back, if one of the receptionists gives you a message, don't not follow through. That's one of the worst things you can do as a salesman. They'll not forgive you for that. And they'll bitch and moan at me because you said you called me back and you didn't, and you got to deal with it. So always mean what you say what you mean, and make sure you follow through on all those messages. Podiums, can't leave a podium hanging. And you know, a lot of times I need to check stock on something. I'll call you back in 5 minutes. Do not leave that day unless you follow through with all your messages. That's pretty important as a good salesman. Dress code. It's like we wear our Bills shirts, some kind, down. Got your button downs and your ties. Got your golf shirts that some of the guys you see out there wearing. Got your t-shirts, whatever. As long as you look good in Bills attire, that's good. What can we do if we're slow? You can find something. Taylor, unfortunately, never known that because I've loaded her up with so many jobs. You could go to a department. We're going to start departmentalizing a little bit more since we got a few more people and give everybody a little bit more specific areas that might be their responsibility. But there's usually something to do if you can check the guitar, see if anything needs to be strung or, whatever. Maybe you have calls to make or callbacks, whatever. We're not slow that often. We're at a little bit of our slow time right now. But
There's always something.
there's always something to do around here. If you're ambitious and you want to go out and do it, we appreciate it, And to the Higgins family when the family feud. No, we did not.
Twice.
Twice. All right, and that's my sheet.
Cool.
Oh,
Great.
Good job.
any questions? Any things that have come up while you guys are out there? Do you have any questions? Okay, you're welcome to come grab me. Of course, me, Tracy, Jamie, even Lindsay's pretty good at most of these things, specifically anytime. I think we need a little more AMSI still stuff to do some of the more deeper things in AMSI that we wrote down. So we'll try to get set up for that. But all right, I appreciate you listening to me.
I have a question with you mentioned the emails that
Emails?
came out daily about new gear that has arrived on site.
You haven't gotten one yet?
I haven't seen one.
Okay, we'll make sure you do.
Okay. I get
Online,
podium
there's-
messages, but that's all I'm
Okay.
seeing in my
In,
email.
in your email, in your George, I'm assuming you have a GeorgiaBillsMusic.com
Yes.
at this point.
Yep.
We have Mary Ann, who none of you guys have met, because she works at 6 a.m. There you go. She sends out, so she don't know you exist probably, frankly.
Okay.
She
Okay.
prints out like your sales sheets, one of those sales sheets. She
Okay.
had them in there for you, but you could,
That'd be cool.
yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah,
So
I
yes,
don't-
I'll get it to you.
Okay, cool.
I'll make sure you get it. You're not getting them either.
No, I haven't seen it.
Yeah. Every day you get a list of inventory that came in new and used.
So-
So she just
Awesome.
doesn't know you
I just
exist.
That'll
was
be
getting,
cool.
like,
On
the daily
mine, if
podium
you just
things.
click on inbox, it's completely empty, but there's like the third or fourth one down is like all mail, and it's all in there for some reason. So I think it might
Oh,
just be
might
that.
go to the wrong inbox.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's what I think it might be for you.
Yeah, check, but she may not know you.